So let me get this straight. Last week we had somebody sleeping during the substance.
Yes.
And this week, during Joker Folie, Deux, we had someone actually on a laptop.
Yeah. There's somebody like 3 rows in front of me on a laptop. And I kept having to I was adjusting myself in my seat. So for everybody, we were in a screen where it didn't have recliners. It had these like rocking seats. But so every time I adjusted myself in my seat and kind of I went up above the row, I could see the screen.
Could you see what they were doing?
No.
Were they working? Were they...
No, I wasn't. I wasn't interested.
Wouldn't it be crazy if somebody had like brought in a full laptop to like watch porn while... Okay, people are out of control.
Yeah. I know.
You're paying... This is an IMAX ticket. You're paying, to watch a movie, to sit on your laptop.
It could have been an employee. I don't know, but...
But go to the back of the theater.
Right.
I'm sorry. If you're gonna, work and be distracting to others, go to the back of the theater.
You know what? Look, I guess people are used to having... It was really interesting. I was listening to an episode of the Rest is Entertainment podcast the other day with Richard Osman and Marina Hyde. And they were talking about the rise of the free channels like Pluto and 2B and things like that.
Yeah.
And what they're used for and what we use them for is background.
Yeah. Right?
Like if I'm in the kitchen, cleaning or doing something, I'll put something on like an episode of Tosh.0 or something in the background. So maybe this person thought, I'll just go and have Joker on in the background.
This is dumb though. Those channels are free. Mm-hmm. They're just running in your home. Yeah. They're free to stream. You've got ads, whatever. You're paying to see this movie. Don't do that.
That's that person. That's that person.
People, movie theaters are not your living rooms. Stop it. Knock it off. Okay. Anyway, welcome to FaveFilm Weekly. Just wanted to get that out of the way because that really bugged me. I was like, what the heck?
Well, you didn't even notice it because you're kind of...
You told me and I was like...
You're short.
What? Yeah. So. My height had an advantage that one time.
Yeah. So the family with the young kids bothered you too?
Well...
We'll get onto that later, I guess.
Yeah, children in movies. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, welcome to FaveFilm Weekly.
Welcome.
So coming up, we do have our review of Joker Folie, Deux.
Spoiler free.
Yes, absolutely. I keep mispronouncing that. Folie, Deux. Sorry, Folie.
Folie.
Folie, Deux.
Folie, Deux.
Sorry. I keep mispronouncing that. I mispronounced it all last week. So anyway, but so we'll have a review of that. We'll talk about a couple of things we've been watching on TV, and we'll kick it off with some news stories. Let's talk about the news. All right. So our top story, following on from last week, is Megalopolis.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Megalopolis had a take of $4 million at the box office, as predicted.
So what kind of, was that the first weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna, it's not.
What was the budget in the end?
$125 million.
How many bottles of wine is that?
Oh, let's see. It's how many about vineyards? As many as I've drunk.
How many vineyards do you have to sell?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So the thing is, right, obviously Francis Ford Coppola has been asked about this because he's, he self-funded this movie. It was a passion project for him. Apparently he's been trying to get it made since the time of Apocalypse Now. He's been trying to get it made for about 40 years. And he's just like, it was never about the money for me. I'm like, you know what? What privilege. What privilege for you to turn around and throw over $100 million into a project to just say, it doesn't matter.
Well, to be fair, he has had a very long and, industrious career. He does work hard. He's made some great movies. But
it just feels like, okay, let's just say like at work, right? I work a regular job, just like a lot of people. Let's just say I'm like, I take my whole year's salary and say, I want to throw it into, like, I want to open a store, right?
Yeah.
And it fails.
Let's just make it clear you do not earn $100 million a year.
100% do not. Not by a long
Because that's
shot.
what it sounded like. Just then I was like, hold on a minute. I want my
don't make enough
dowry.
money
What's
to
going
open
on?
a store. Let's put it that way. No, let's just say I would just open a store and it fails.
Yeah.
I would be devastated.
Yeah.
Financially and, mentally
Yeah.
devastated.
I mean,
because,
again, he had to sell, I don't know how many vineyards he has, but he had to sell one of them to make the
to,
money.
like,
So
offset.
it's not like he just put his hands on $100 million.
Yeah, and so he just really, really wanted to get this movie made. It's divided a lot of people. Obviously, we talked about this last week, that we haven't seen a review that said, "Oh my God, it's the best thing ever." It's got issues and things like that. But he just really wanted to have it made.
Yeah.
But you know what? I feel like, interestingly enough, this makes me want to see it more.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Are people gonna? Do you call it hate watching or spite watching, or what do you call it? Hate watching.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether people are gonna take this movie into their hearts as a hate watch.
I don't know. So Mark Kermode, who we
Yeah.
put a lot of faith in as a movie critic, he said, this is not even bad in a good way like The Room. This is bad in a bad way.
Oh no, I don't think The Room is good at all. But
no, I mean, but it's bad in a funny way, though. The Room is just such a unique movie, and it was self-financed and one man's ego-driven vision. But you've got somebody with such credibility as Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
Basically doing almost the same thing Tommy Wiseau did with The Room, self-funding kind of, although, Tommy Wiseau is just generally a weirdo, mysterious kind of,
true.
You kind of know what you're getting with a Tommy Wiseau movie.
Right.
But with Francis Ford Coppola, with such a, as you said, such a storied career, such monumental films as The Godfather and Bram Stoker's Dracula and Apocalypse Now, all these movies, you expect that if he believes in something so strongly that it would probably be good.
Right.
But apparently it's not. But I kind of...
You want to see it?
It's piqued my curiosity a lot. I kind of want to see just how bad it is.
Well,
but
it's still running. It still needs to make its money. They're probably going to try and keep it in theaters as long as they can to try and mitigate what's happened. But
I don't know. It feels like if it's not going to have, the butts and seats, it may disappear.
Can you clear up the what happened with the live element?
Yeah. So last week we talked about the live element of how they had an actor talking to the screen at one point. So
this was a live actor in the theater. So they would put a spotlight on, I guess, and
so this was only available during certain experiences, like certain special screenings with IMAX.
Right.
And so this was not. We thought, this is going to be in every BFE theater in,
it's going to be,
it's going to be like
a kid from the concession stand who they'd rope in.
That was not the case. So in most cases, I think it was used like just a voiceover in regular screenings. But
so they must have had two versions of the movie.
I think that's what happened. So that's probably what will happen on home viewing. Is
they're going to have a read-along version?
Yeah. I still think they should put someone in the bottom of the screen like they do when they have people doing hard of hearing kind of signing. I still think they should do that, but never mind. We'll see what happens when it's released at home. And honestly,
which I don't think will be very long.
No, I don't think so either. So, so not a success. As predicted, I said last week, I was like, I don't see how it can do what it needs to do to be successful for Francis Ford Coppola, but he's not sweating it.
Yeah,
he's
I was wondering,
whatever.
It'd be interesting to try and see some, after the dust settles, see some interviews with him to see what he believes that the measure of success with this movie is.
I think just getting it out I think
Yeah.
that's what he really wanted.
I mean, if it's a passion piece and that's what he wants to do, then fair play to him, I guess.
must be nice.
Yeah,
Must
right.
be nice to have the money to kind of throw at whatever you want to do, but that is not the case for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
But good for him, I
So,
guess.
but I mean, they'll throw it out onto streaming. I don't know. It'll probably come to bite, but people like us will be interested to see it. So we'll want to,
Yeah.
But I mean, stuff's coming to streaming really fast now. I saw something this morning that apparently Beetlejuice is coming to digital streaming like next week.
Oh, for rent and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, that's not, wholly
It's still-
unusual.
but yeah,
it's probably
but
going to be $20.
Yeah, but I'm still I guess my mind is still in the days of 6 months for streaming.
Yeah, really. 6 months to rent from Blockbuster.
Right.
Remember that? Oh, man.
Yeah, COVID changed all of that, probably for the better. I mean, there's a lot of movies that we, wouldn't have seen as quick as we did if it didn't come to streaming. And especially with the platform-specific streamers now, Paramount movies, I mean, they come to Paramount Plus so fast now.
The thing is that movie studios are not doing themselves any favors by, reducing that window to streaming because they really want people to go see these in theaters. And they're saying like 3 weeks later, you can pay $20 to see this at
Right.
home. And it's a lot more, favorable for people to go, okay, I could go and spend $50 on tickets and concessions, or I could wait a couple weeks and just buy it at home.
Well,
and people are getting more comfortable with watching things at home, and they're taking their laptops to the cinema.
Well, I feel like with movies like, let's say, for example, Quiet Place Day One, right?
Yeah.
That came to Paramount Plus really fast, which was great for us because we didn't see it in the theater. But what they want people to do is they want people to say, I want to watch that. I'm going to subscribe to Paramount Plus. So they might give them like a week's free trial. Then, what they're counting on is they're counting on that percentage of people who forget to cancel it. And then they hit them for whatever Paramount Plus is now.
This goes back to what we were talking about.
$11.99 a month, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
So I will say one thing, and we're not sponsored, obviously, but Paramount Plus, from what it was when it first came out, and we tried it to what it is now, it's a world of difference. Paramount Plus, for me, is one of the best ones now, and it didn't used to be.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be. It's really good. I find the selection on there is very, very good.
Yeah, I think once they kind of incorporated all the Viacom shows, all the Comedy
100%.
Central, all the MTV, all that stuff.
100%.
I think it really built the library, and I think that, obviously, we got it so I could rewatch Star Trek Deep Space Nine. But
we'll keep it.
But we're
because
keeping it for a while, and it's pretty good.
But as I say, I assume Megalopolis will come to streaming pretty soon. So
I think so.
and we'll check it out. We probably won't pay $20 to rent it, but maybe when it comes down to $5.99, we'll give it a punt, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely want to see what it's all about. So moving on to other news. So this is interesting. We haven't talked about this together, but so there was a trailer this week for the new Robbie Williams biopic.
Oh,
called
okay.
Better Man.
Do you want to explain to some of the listeners who might not know who Robbie Williams is?
So if you live anywhere outside of the U.S., you probably know who Robbie Williams is. He was a big international pop star. He's still going. He was a member of a pop group in the 90s called Take That, which were kind of UK's answer to New Kids on the Block. And he launched a solo career shortly after leaving the band and became a megastar. I think he's the person who's won the most Brit Awards, which is the Grammys. For
and
the
you
UK.
don't like him very much, right?
Not at all. No, he's one of my favorite artists. He had a very brief dalliance with America with his solo career. Just never could quite break America in the same way he's broken everywhere else in the world.
Okay.
But he's quite a, polarizing pop star. He has a personality that's very divisive for some. He can be he can pick fights with people. He once at the Brit Awards, he once challenged Liam Gallagher to a fight on
that.
pay-per-view.
I remember that.
And I thought, all right. But I've always loved his music, and he's easy on the eyes for me. He was one of my kind of pop crushes, but I still love him today. But so here's what's interesting about this biopic.
Yeah.
So it's called Better Man, and it's directed by Michael Gracie, who directed The Greatest Showman.
Okay.
So there's some pedigree there. But what's interesting about this is that it's not going to be a young actor playing Robbie Williams in the same traditional way of, like, Rami Malek playing Freddie Mercury.
Right.
He's going to be played by a Weta-generated monkey.
Oh, wait, what?
Yes. So,
okay.
Robbie in the movie.
Yes.
There's a younger actor playing the younger version of Robbie.
Okay.
Just been, motion captured by Weta as a monkey. So Robbie will be a monkey throughout the movie. And it will be narrated partially by, I think, a young actor playing young Robbie, or there'll be a young voice for the young Robbie. But it'll be narrated by the man himself, but whenever Robbie is on screen, he will be a monkey. And I feel a way about this.
Okay.
As a fan, I know how odd Robbie Williams is. And I know how he can get into his own head and in his own ego. And I feel like this is just dumb. I'll say it.
Okay.
I saw the trailer.
Okay, so I haven't seen the trailer. Do you see the monkey in the trailer?
Yes.
Oh, wow, I got to see this.
You got to see the trailer.
So let me get this right. So we've got Robbie Williams as a monkey now, and next week we're going to have Pharrell in Lego.
Yes.
So this is craziness.
Nobody wants anybody representing them anymore. I don't know.
Well,
it's
I
weird.
don't know. So Pharrell is heavily involved in the Lego Pharrell movie, and apparently it's phenomenal. I can't wait to see it.
But the visage of Pharrell in Lego is Pharrell.
Is Pharrell,
it
correct,
looks like
correct.
him.
So the monkey doesn't look like Robbie.
The monkey looks like a monkey.
They didn't even, like...
I have no words.
Okay.
This is just classic Robbie. This is just classic Robbie saying, no one can play me except me. And that's exactly what he said. He said, no one can play me except me. But...
So how much is Robbie... So I'm assuming then he's a producer? He must be. I mean, he must have some kind of sway, because surely the director didn't turn around and say, hey, Robbie, we're going to have a monkey play you.
He is not a producer.
He's not a producer?
No.
Wow. Okay.
It's...
Okay. So we've got it. So listeners, you need to watch this trailer. What's it called? Better Man? Okay. I'm going to watch this trailer later today.
You will see the frustration that I have.
Okay.
Just... Why not? Okay, this doesn't bode well for what could be potentially a Madonna biopic now, because what is Madonna going to do?
Oh, no, but they've already said who's... So the girl who from...
it's Julia Garner, right?
Yeah, the girl from...
girl from Apartment 7A, which we reviewed last week, from Ozark.
From Ozark.
Yeah.
Which is a great choice. Great. Yeah, I mean, she looks like a young Madonna. So she'll be good.
Why do you have to go outside the box?
But I'm sure that, Madonna probably said, oh, nobody could play me but her.
Well,
right?
I'm sure Madonna had a lot of say in that.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, so we'll have to have a look and see what this... I mean, this is going to be... Yeah. So does the monkey sing some of his songs? Is it in the trailer?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The monkey is on stage at Nebworth, I think.
Yeah.
With a mic.
Yeah.
Screaming in Robbie's voice, Nebworth, for the next, 2 hours, your ass is mine, or something like that.
Yeah, that's a very famous concert.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's a monkey.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Look, I may see the movie and be like, oh,
It
okay.
works.
Strangely, it works. I doubt it. I just can't get myself to a place where I'm like, why did you have to? Why? Why don't you do a normal fucking biopic? Jesus Christ. So anyway, sorry. I got on a little soapbox there, but
well,
look,
you know
watch
what?
the trailer, make up your own mind. You might go, hey, that's pretty interesting.
Look, I didn't think. Okay, and it's probably not right to use this comparison, but I didn't think Rocket Man was going to work until I realized. I was like, well, why? I couldn't for the life of me think when we saw the trailers, why is he not miming to Elton John's voice? But then when we saw but then when we saw the movie and we realized, oh, it's a musical where the other characters are singing, I was like, okay, that makes complete sense, and it worked so well. I mean, it was such a great movie.
Yeah, and Taron predominantly sings a lot of as Elton as well, but he does such a great job.
He does
such a great.
He does.
It's not an impression per se.
No.
It's not a direct,
meant to be.
But it's a good enough
yeah.
representation of Elton.
That's what I was trying to say. I was like, when we saw the trailer, I didn't think it would work, but it did. So we'll have to see with this movie.
It feels a little bit egocentric, and it feels like I don't want anybody impersonating me, so I'm going to do this mainly as a monkey.
Well, the ego has landed, right?
Oh, God. I love you, Robbie, but knock it off.
Right.
Knock it off. We'll see. We'll see. It may be a success. It may be incredible. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see. Anyway, so now for some reboot news, because we can't go a week without some reboot being announced. So we have a reboot of The Running Man coming in 2025.
Oh,
now, it is going to be directed by Edgar Wright. So maybe, maybe. And it will star Glenn Powell of Twisters.
Okay.
Which I'm like, all right.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, he's a snack. It could work. So
it could if they change it. I guess if they change it enough, I just like to see something different.
Yeah. But it's a great story, like the original.
It is a great story, but you know, I mean, we've seen Hunger Games, we've seen Maze Runner, we've seen all these.
We've seen a lot of dystopian games. Yeah.
You know, but we'll see.
Yeah, it could be good. I think Edgar Wright always brings something unique and different, so it should be interesting to watch as dailies and trailers come out for that.
Yeah, okay,
so we'll be on the lookout for that. But one remake I'm not sure about working is there's going to be a remake of The Naked Gun, directed by Akiva Schaffer from The Lonely Island. But who they've tapped for Frank Drebin?
Who's playing Drebin?
Liam Neeson.
What?
I know. So my first thought was no. But then I thought, Liam Neeson narrating ridiculous stuff like, you know, just like, you know, someone in an orgy, I was going to have to feel my way around. It sounds kind of funny.
It does,
but I don't know.
Have we ever seen Liam Neeson do comedy before?
I think the closest thing we've ever seen Liam Neeson do comedy was when he was on Life is Short or Life's Too Short.
Oh,
what was that?
He was the Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant show. Yeah, he was on that. And he was pretty funny, but he was playing himself.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
A heightened version of himself.
Yeah, but it's always funny when, you know, I mean, that's not really a stretch. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing with The Naked Gun and Police Squad. He's got such big shoes to fill.
Well, Leslie Nielsen was
a genius, a comic genius.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you know, the Lonely Island movies are good. You know, Hot Rod was great. We've talked about Hot Rod before on the show. Hot Rod was great. Pop Star was great. I can't even think of the other ones, but and some of the HBO specials are great too.
Yeah, the Bash Brothers on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Yeah.
One thing that I wonder is in today's climate, a lot of these, you know, the Naked Gun movies, the airplane movies, a lot of these kind of, you know, silly, over the top kind of parody movies. relied on really irreverent jokes. Some that you watch today and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So I wonder how they're going to do it and really capitalize on that silliness and that irreverence without going, this is cringy and cancelly.
They've just got to write round it, haven't they? I mean, they're going to, I'm assuming that with these guys, it's going to be R-rated. I would think so.
I think so, yeah.
So they'll have to write around it. I'm sure that they can do that. I mean, there are still comedies that come out now where there's stuff which is kind of on the borderline, so comedies can still be cutting and, and kind of out there. So hopefully it's in good hands.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. I'm not sold on Liam Neeson yet, but again, I may be proven wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of, stunt casting before, and I'm like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Finally, for all millennials out there, Princess Diaries 3 has been announced. Anne Hathaway took to Twitter, Instagram. Twitter, is that even a thing anymore? Took to Instagram and announced and tagged Disney. So a remake of Princess Diaries is in the mix. Now, I saw the first Princess Diaries and I was like, it's fine. I'm not the super fan of some things like Princess Diaries and Mean Girls and stuff like that. I feel like they came out at a time where I was a little bit older and a little bit like less, but people who were young girls, especially at that time, loved Princess Diaries and the sequel. So they're excited. There's a lot of buzz about Princess Diaries 3. Apparently millennials are living their best life because Princess Diaries 3 is coming out. So we did have to talk about that.
Didn't they get a new Mean Girls movie too?
Well, the Mean Girls musical came out earlier this year. The kind of take of the Broadway show, and it was semi-successful, I guess. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know.
I have believe it or not, shockingly, I have a bit of news too.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that?
Kevin Smith has been promoting his new movie, the 4:30 movie.
Yes.
Which apparently is great. For those of y'all who don't know Kevin Smith, he's done movies like Clerks, Chasing Amy, Zack and Miri, Clerks
Dogma.
2, Clerks 3. His movies are mostly brilliant. There are a couple which didn't really sit right with me, but the majority of the ones, like Clerks 3 was the last movie he brought out, and it was phenomenal. But what's interesting is in the press junkets he's been doing for the 4:30 movie, he's been talking about his next project, which is Twilight of the Mallrats. So the new Mallrats movie, we have a name. Yeah, it's called Twilight of the Mallrats. And, as we all know, unfortunately, Shannon Doherty passed away earlier this year, tragically. So he was talking about that, and he was talking about the fact that he was going to write out that character, but he decided that he wanted to try and find somebody who he believes would play the character. So, and this actress has confirmed that she is interested, and it's going to be Shannon Doherty's best friend, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I think that's great.
Yeah. I think that's a great piece of casting. I think that to keep Renee in the movie is a nice touch. I don't know how the movie's going to go. I don't see, Jason Lee and Jeremy London running around a mall, but we'll see. I mean,
I think it would be funny now that malls are mostly abandoned. I think it would be great. You remember that documentary, the one about the mall?
the mall in, I think it was in Jersey. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I think it would be great for them to be like kind of the last losers that are walking around the mall, and kind of how the stores are almost all gone, and or maybe they're trying to fight to bring them all back.
Maybe, yeah. We'll
that.
have to see what I'm sure that he'll start releasing more information. I mean, it looks like the 4:30 movie is going to be very, very popular. So, believe it or not, a lot of the critics that have already seen it are comparing it tonally to The Fabelmans. like a coming of age story, and so that's kind of cool.
I kind of like that. And
so we'll see.
The great thing about Kevin Smith movies is lately he's not worked through a lot of production companies. He's tried to get, someone to, distribute them, but he's mostly promoted his films through road shows. So they're a lot smaller scale kind of productions and promotions. So something like Mallrats, he'll probably have more of what his vision will be for the movie, so he can do what he wants without,
Yeah.
You were like, I'm not sure how it's going to work or what it's going to be about. I think he could do mostly what he wants. He's going to be like a Megalopolis Francis Ford Coppola, just do whatever he wants. But
he's always
not
been
to the level of 125 million.
But look, he's always been like that, really. I mean, if you think about where he came from with Clerks was funded on a credit card, and it's wildly popular and one of the best movies. I love Clerk, of course.
But now, I think he learned from things like Cop Out, the things that he took.
Oh yeah, shit! I even forgot about Cop Out. Yeah,
to try and get Jersey Girl, the things that he tried to do to be more mainstream,
right.
I think he learned that he needed to stay in his indie roots and really have these kind of guerrilla marketing, grassroots campaign type road shows and films and things like that to really get his vision across.
Yeah.
So I admire him for that. I admire him for learning from the industry and kind of scaling back from what he was doing and just making the stuff that he feels like he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, not
on a $125 million scale, like some directors.
Well, I mean, I pretty much, as I say, I love pretty much everything he's done. I didn't really care for Tusk or Yoga Hosers, and I like the first half of Jay and Silent Bob reboot. But we'll see what the 4:30 movie comes along. But then it made me think about. Do you remember? Like years and years and years ago, when probably not long after we met, but I would talk to you about my days working in a movie theater, and you said, I would love to write a script about people working in a movie theater.
God, I don't remember that. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did. And I said, you should do it. And now look.
My problem is whenever I write something, I don't ever know how to end it. So I got to figure that out.
Okay, fair enough.
But
that's interesting. So Twilight of the Mallrats, I assume it's going to go into production probably next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Sweet.
And with Sarah Michelle Gellar, that role's in good hands, I think. So, so let's talk a little bit about what we've seen. All right.
So what do you want to talk about first?
Joker, Folie à Deux.
Folie à Deux. Which means, for anybody who doesn't know what it means Madness of Two.
That makes a lot of sense for this movie because a lot of it, I mean, this is the Joker and Harley Quinn, or Lee, played by Lady Gaga, both patients in the Arkham Medical Hospital or mental hospital.
Yeah.
And they kind of connect and form a bond and kind of express themselves through music. And Joker goes on trial, and that's the extent of
that's pretty much
what I can spoil.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah.
So we're kind of split on it.
Yeah.
So let me talk about what I thought. I thought it had moments of greatness. But I think as a whole, I don't think it worked. I definitely thought it was probably a little bit too long. But on reflection, I take what you say on board that I probably need to see it again. Because here's the thing, for anybody who's going to see it, and as somebody who watched the first one again and loved the first one, made whatever year that was, probably was my favorite movie of that year. It's completely different. It is absolutely completely different, even down to some of the ways that Joaquin Phoenix plays the character. He's different because time's moved on and he's had different experiences. He's been in... you say it's a mental hospital, it's like a jail, really. You know what I mean? There's solitary confinement. There's only certain amount of recreational time. So it's a mental, jail. So, so as I say, and another thing that people need to be aware of as well is that it's, I would say, 60% musical.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion about how none of the trailers really emphasized just how musical it was, and that
Right.
people are feeling like they've been duped into seeing a musical.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, first of all, you don't have to be duped to seeing a musical.
Right.
Musicals can be great.
Right.
They're not everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
It's not expected on a Joker sequel for it to be as much musical as it is. I personally, and I know a lot of people have a difference of opinion, I personally did not feel this was a musical.
No, I didn't either, really.
I felt like it had musical moments,
yes,
and it was sort
correct.
of a a pastiche of a musical, I guess.
No,
it was
that's
sort
a
of
good way to describe it, because each of the musical sequences is very different.
Yes.
They take place in very different, it's not like every single musical sequence in this movie is like on a stage. They take place in like there's one part where, Arthur's on the phone and it turns into a song. There's one, there's the courtroom. It's varied enough. And also, the songs are not perfect either.
No.
Which is a good way, a good thing to remember as well, is the songs are there to enhance the moment. See, I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, maybe I need to see it again. So maybe we will.
Yeah, I think that there are definitely some things in the movie that are out of left field, a little bit weird. There was one moment that I talked about. I'm not going to spoil because it's key plot details.
Right.
There's one moment in particular where I was like, that didn't really work.
Right. Yeah.
But I think on the whole, if you come at it from a perspective of a lot of this is probably what's going on in Arthur's head. I wasn't quite sure what was really a musical moment and what was really a fantasy. I think that kind of throws some people off, but I will personally say that I don't think that this movie warrants the kind of really harsh reviews that it's getting.
Yeah, I checked the Rotten Tomatoes score this morning. It's at 33%. It definitely doesn't deserve that.
No, and it does not deserve the D cinema score that it's currently getting from audiences.
Right.
I think a lot of people, there were some people who saw that first Joker movie and took something completely different from what we took from it.
Yeah.
They took it as a sort of manifesto for incels. And I think that some of these toxic comic book movie fans saw it as their kind of bastion picture they can bow to of, it's exactly what I've always wanted to say. The frustrations of, these men. I'm going to say it, men, who they took something completely different. What we took from it was that it was a picture of mental illness and a picture of somebody who's, been through. I felt like they made it upon second watch. I didn't get on with it the first time I watched it. I had a lot of problems with it, but upon second watch, I noticed a little bit more about, the diving into Joker's personal trauma, which they did a better job in this movie, in the second movie,
I agree.
of talking about.
I agree.
You've heard some things, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot more sense. It was a picture of somebody who had traumatic stress, a mother who wasn't doing him any favors by keeping him in the dark about a lot of his a lot of his, past. A time in the 70s where mental illness wasn't understood and people were more subjected to bullying as a result of that. The people who took a different message from that movie are warped, honestly. And that was that message, that kind of possibility of a message for some people was what a lot of critics had as a problem with the first movie.
Okay.
Was that it could read as something potentially dangerous.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
I get that. I saw it as a character study.
yeah.
And brilliant
So-
character study. I loved it. I mean, it's kind of weird. We came out of the first one and we were split, and we came out of the second one, we were split the other way.
Yeah, it was strange. So, I think that those people who saw that thing in Joker that they were looking for did not get it in the second movie, and
Not
were
at all.
upset by that and probably have review bombed it. There are just a lot of people who I feel like have heard that it was bad from
Yeah.
other people and are now drinking that Kool-Aid. Because I've seen some people just go on Instagram and go, "Oh, the movie's bad. I'm telling you, the movie's bad." I didn't think it was that bad.
Right.
I honestly
No.
was about halfway through, and I was going to turn to you. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to talk in the theater. But I was going to turn to you and go, "I don't know what people are on about. I'm actually thinking this is pretty good." And so I thought it was, yes, there were parts of it that didn't work as
Right.
well. There were parts of it that seemed a bit superfluous. But it was an interesting take. And
I agree.
it delved a little bit more into that trauma. It delved a little bit more into the kind of fantastical thinkings of essentially a madman. And I thought Lady Gaga, she was a little bit underused.
Oh, 100%. That's one thing we can agree on. That the Harley Quinn character was completely underused.
But that character provided an interesting vessel for Arthur to kind of get back into the spotlight and
Right.
get kind of that thing back that he was, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, and it's tough to not talk about some things because I don't want to spoil anything. But there's a whole undercurrent in both the first and the second movies of untruths, and and I think that's where the Harley Quinn character really, that's the kind of the vehicle that really they used her for, which was great, and it was really good the way they did it. And obviously, Lady Gaga, great voice, the songs, just it's no it's no secret that they're updated versions of old standards.
Yeah.
So I would say go and see it. I again, thinking back to it, it's been less than 24 hours since I've seen it, but I probably do need to see it again. One thing I will say is that if you have chance, go see it in IMAX. We saw it on laser IMAX yesterday, and it was beautiful.
Fantastic
Oh my
presentation.
goodness,
Wow.
Yeah, it was beautiful. The sound and the picture quality were incredible. So yeah, if you have a chance, I would say just go and see it if you can. Make up your own mind. It is a Warner's movie, so it's probably going to come to Max pretty quick. So if you want to wait, watch it on Max then.
Yeah, it'll probably be an early Christmas present for all of us.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it'll probably hit Thanksgiving.
Or the New Year or
Yeah.
something, yeah. But, yeah, not wholly successful, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Not enjoy. You can't enjoy a movie like
Yeah.
It's-
It still wasn't. I mean, it
There's
still
an
wasn't.
undercurrent of, darkness, so it's kind of like, did I enjoy it?
Yeah, I don't think it was bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I agree. So make up your own mind, but it's on track to kind of underperform.
Which is a shame.
I think a lot of that bad. Again,
Yeah.
some people drank that Kool-Aid. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But let's just say Joaquin Phoenix is still killing it. He's still
Yeah. Oh,
incredible.
his performance was incredible. There's one part where he's, again, it's just like the first one. It's just, he doesn't even say anything. You just look at his face and it's all there.
You can work out what his mind
Yeah.
is going through and
Exactly.
things like that. So, interesting. All right, moving on. So, on the heels of The Substance last week, we went back and saw for the first time Coralie Forgeau's first movie, which is called Revenge.
Yeah. It was on. Is it on Shudder?
It's on Shudder.
Shudder here in the US.
Yeah.
We talk about Shudder a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever mentioned what it is. It is a streaming channel in the US. It's owned by AMC, I think, and it's super cheap. It's like if you buy the yearly subscription, it's like $74 for a year. It's worth every penny.
Yeah, it's a horror movie fanatic kind of streaming service. So it's strictly for horror and kind of camp classics and things like that.
But it's worth every penny. You know, there's probably no week goes by where either you or I don't watch a movie on there. So
yeah. So happy that we got that back.
Yeah.
We've watched a lot of interesting stuff on it. But so we did watch Revenge. So the story centers around this young American woman who is on vacation in, I guess, a French desert. A really nice.
It's either France or it's Canada. I don't know. Well, he mentions to her at one point, he says, I got you a job in Canada.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's either French-speaking Canada or France.
Somewhere.
But they're in a desert.
Yeah. So in this really nice kind of private home with a pool and everything like that. And it seems idyllic. It's clear that she's having an affair with him because he speaks to his wife. And these two friends of his show up early for a hunting trip. And, you know, she's this young, nubile, you know, she's a model. She knows, you know, she's beautiful, beautiful body, everything. So she appeals to them, obviously. And it's very clear that they're all toxic men. And something happens, something really horrifying and awful. And, you know, she's assaulted.
Yeah.
And she's, you know...
She's assaulted, and we're trying not to spoil it, but she's assaulted and she's left for dead.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and the rest of the movie is her...
Getting her
revenge on these three guys.
Yeah.
Gory, bloody.
Very, very gory, very bloody. I enjoyed it. I thought there were some parts that were a little bit overlong. There was one part in the movie that really annoyed me, but I don't know whether that was in a good way or not. But it was good. It was good. It was, you know,
stylistically,
it's a story that's stylistically, yeah, and you can see there's a lot of things that she used in the substance as well.
Yeah,
which is great. I mean, why wouldn't you reuse that? You know, it's a story that's been told, you know, 1,000 times. I didn't feel like it covered any new ground, but it was very well made and very well performed.
And it was satisfying.
Yeah, it was good.
It was satisfying to, you know, I was just like, get him, girl, get him. So it's, you know, yeah, but definitely worth a check out.
Very gory, though, to be fair.
Quite gory, quite shocking in places. Yeah. Yeah,
you can see that. Well, put it this way: if the you know, bloody gory in this is a 7, the gore in the substance is 100. But you know, but this is, you know, it's pretty gory. Kind of, I felt like there were kind of a couple of nods in there to things like "I spit on your grave."
Yes,
you know,
agreed.
Just as I say, it's the classic revenge story. But you know, there are a couple of things in there that were very clever. But as you say, it's very satisfying. So,
but it is. There are some edge of your seat moments. Yeah. It's entertaining throughout. Her, you know, journey to get these guys, you know.
But as I say, if you want to see it and you're in the US, you know, you can subscribe to Shudder. I think you could do 1 month for like $7.
Yeah, or you can get a free trial for a little bit.
Or you can get a free trial, and watch it there. So, but that's not the only movie that's on there that's any good. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we've done, kind of semi-regular feature, is that I will tend to watch something kind of dumb on my own.
Well, to be fair as well, I would tell everybody that I recently started playing Cyberpunk 2077 a couple of weeks ago, so I'm just, all my spare time is
So
on that.
I got to do something during that time. So
Yeah.
I tend to watch something kind of dumb on Shudder. So this week of my Shudder semi-dumb movie
Yeah.
is called The House is October Built.
Okay.
And it was a 2014, 2024, actually. I think it was fairly recent. Maybe it's 2014. I can't remember. But it was a found footage movie about these filmmakers who decide to dig in a little bit about haunted houses throughout the U.S.
Okay.
And they go and, visit various haunted houses, talk to the owners, talk about, what their scare tactics are, how they, talk to some of the actors of what they're, what are they...
So you're talking about haunted houses like that they make, like Scream World and things like
attractions,
that?
Haunted
okay.
attractions.
I thought you meant actual houses.
Yes, so
Okay.
It's 4 filmmakers, 3 guys and a girl.
Right.
And they mostly send the girl through the haunted house to kind of get a, POV of her
Is it like Aaron in Ghost Adventures? Where they send him in.
Yeah, so it's not the, ghost hunters. It's like, it's attractions. It's people in makeup. So they talk to some of the actors. And, I like to, go into, I like to get into a role and I like to, and they talk to some owners and some owners are like, oh, there's these haunted houses now that like to touch people and like, and I don't do that. I don't mess with that. But they find out, they start talking to people who've been to other haunted houses that are a little bit more extreme, and they have an opportunity to take part in one that's quite storied and rumored and kind of semi-dangerous.
Okay.
And guess what happens?
Oh, no.
It goes too far. Okay, so I will say it's super low rent. It's very camcorder. It's very, all the actors in the film, quote unquote, they all have the same name as their real name. It's one of those Blair Witch kind of things.
Okay.
But it's interesting. There's one really, really creepy moment where I was like, okay, I'm in now.
Okay.
Most of it's going around the country, just talking to people.
Yeah.
And, but.
So you liked it?
I liked it enough.
How many skulls would you give it out of 5?
3 out of 5.
3 out
maybe.
of 5. Okay.
Yeah, it drags a little bit in places.
Okay.
But I think that I feel like they could have gone a little further.
Okay.
But
that's just you.
Look, things go wrong. It's like I can't spoil it. I was going to talk about this one particular bit that really creeped me out, but I won't spoil it. So it's called The House is October Built.
Okay.
And it's on Shudder.
Okay, cool.
So check it out.
Well, one other movie we did watch this week was a movie, I don't know whether you've ever seen it. It's called Ocean's 11.
Oh, God. I'm saying, oh, God, only because you tend to go on about Ocean's 11.
So the Steven Soderbergh remake of Ocean's 11 is one of my favorite films of all time. I had a angry... What was I listening to? Oh, that's right. I was listening to the Smartless podcast with Sean Hayes, Jason Bateman, and Will Arnett. And they interviewed Steven Soderbergh. And I was like, man, I haven't seen Oceans in a while. And so I ended up just rebuying it in 4K. And oh, man, what a movie. If you... excuse me. If you haven't seen Ocean's 11 in a long time, just go back and see it. It's just magnificent.
It holds up really well.
I love it.
I don't want you to think that Ocean's 11 is a bad movie. It's not. It's a good movie.
I just love it.
But I think at the time that Ocean's 11 came out, there was a lot on like Access Hollywood and a lot on Entertainment Channel. They were just, it was just a huge,
It's one of my, what I call comfort blanket movies. It's a movie that I'm so familiar with and that just makes me feel good that I just like to watch it a lot.
It is a good movie. And
it's great.
After revisiting it for a long time,
I love the dialogue. I love the planning. I love the execution of the heist. It's just so stylish. I mean, I'm a Steven Soderbergh fan anyway. But I just love the movie. It's so stylish and so well put together. And I just remember the first time I saw it in the movie theater. It was so good. In fact, at the end of the movie, it made me cry when they finished the heist, and there's that amazing shot of them in front of the Bellagio fountains, and Claire de Lune is playing. Oh, it's fantastic, brilliant cast, love it.
Yeah,
Ocean's 12, not so much. Ocean's 13, really good, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, and we'll watch it again.
Yeah.
I think that, as I explained, a lot of the, press around that movie at the time was, oh, George Clooney and Brad Pitt are pranking each other on set. And, it's like really annoying popular kids.
I guess I didn't see all that press. I just remember
made me kind of over it before I even saw it.
Oh, okay, I
It made me kind of like, oh, God, okay, whatever. It's one of those, it's a popular kids production, it's like all the best actors in Hollywood are involved in this, and it's just like, but taking all of that out of it, yes, it is a good movie.
It's a great movie.
But I was just like, oh, I'm over that.
Ocean's 8 is great too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
loved Ocean's 8. So.
But, okay, let's move on. Just talk about a couple things we've been watching on TV lately. I love that stinger. It's so good. So, we finished Shogun.
Hey.
The Emmy-winning, sweeping Shogun.
It did win some major awards.
A major award.
Yeah. Oh, what a fantastic...
It won a leg lamp.
What a fantastic series. It has been renewed for a second series, series, whatever you want to call it. But incredible. Loved it.
Beautiful. Slow burn a little bit.
It is a slow burn, but when you get, I think the last 4 episodes, so it's the first series is 10 episodes, but the last 4 are just so much going on, and just the story is so intricate. There's so many things going on, but it's just great. I cannot recommend it enough.
So it did win Outstanding Drama Series at the Primetime Emmys.
Wow.
It won Outstanding Lead Actor for Hiroyuki Sanada, who, plays
Toranaga.
Toranaga, yes.
Okay.
So
yeah,
he was great. Lead actress Anna Sawai.
Who plays Lady Mariko.
Lady Mariko won as well. Also won for Outstanding Directing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And tons of Creative Arts Emmy Awards. No surprise there. It's stunningly beautiful.
But what's interesting is that I guess people are more open to subtitles now. Back in the day...
Well, there is a dubbed version.
Oh.
Yes. So you can watch it dubbed.
On Hulu?
I believe on Hulu,
Oh, wow.
yes.
Okay.
So
I didn't realise I never even activated that.
That's not what we prefer to watch things in. We prefer to watch it in their original language.
It would be interesting to find out then how many people watch it dubbed versus subtitled, stuff like that, stuff like Squid Game, things like that. Because I was just thinking to myself...
We did watch Squid Game dubbed, though.
We did?
Yeah, only because...
Are you sure?
I'm not quite sure. We did. We did, because there were a lot of moments that were like, like when people go, and it sounds kind of unnatural in English. We ended up watching it. We started off watching it in Korean with subtitles, but I think we found it... Because there's so much action going on in Squid Game, it's very difficult to follow and read and watch the action.
Gotcha.
So then we ended up watching that dub. So I can understand that. With Shogun, it's a bit more of a slow burn.
Yeah, 100%.
So there's a lot more dialogue, so you can actually put in the attention and read it.
Yeah.
But Squid Game is a different animal altogether.
Yeah, but Shogun is phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough of it.
It's beautiful. It has a lot of, betrayals and machinations and surprises. And
yeah, there's so much. The story's so intricate.
It is just a really beautiful study of, the traditions of Japan and the politeness.
And some of the traditions that still endure today.
Yeah.
Like the serving tea.
Oh.
You can go to a tea ceremony and...
That sequence with the brush and the matcha.
Oh, yeah, there's a sequence. It's not going to spoil anything, but there is a tea sequence, which is very poignant into the story. But, yeah, the way that they portray it, you see the tea being made, and yeah.
Yep. So the second series is currently in writing right now. So
we'll be able to go back to the Japans.
Yes. So. Go back to Japan and continue on the fight for domination. Yeah. It's very interesting, the empirical kind of, all these different countries coming into Japan trying to conquer it, to put their religion forward, and all these different players at play for territories and for the realm, quote unquote.
Right.
So very Game of Thrones like, but set in reality of a different time.
It's basically this whole story is about a power struggle. Mm-hmm. That's all it's about. So so highly recommended. So another TV show. You started watching Industry.
I did. After
I was talking about it, you started watching Industry, and you binged it faster than I did.
I did. I'm almost caught up with you.
Yeah. So I stopped so we could continue watching it together. But
I finished the first series.
Yeah.
So I hate most everybody in it.
Yeah. Which you're meant. Which I think you're meant to.
You're meant to.
Yeah.
I do think that the main character of Harper is unlikable, not in a traditional anti-hero way. Whereas, somebody like a Walter White or a Tony Soprano, they have some kind of charm or some kind of moral backbone that allows you to like them while despising their actions. I hate Harper. I think she's a terrible person. I think she's a hustler. I think she's a liar. I think she's just... But that being said, I was telling you, you were like, oh, well, if you don't like it, stop watching it.
Yeah.
No, I watch a lot of shows with people I don't like.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of shows just to see the drama unfold, because I know eventually, I hope eventually, these actions will catch up with them and it'll be delicious when something finally happens to them.
Well, the reason I kept asking you is because I don't want you to, because we're very different, where if there's something that I'm not enjoying, I'm out, because I don't want to waste my time on it. But whereas you'll stick with things a lot longer. So I was just worried that, oh my gosh, she's watching something she doesn't like just because I've said about it. But I think that the last 2 episodes of that first season, oh my gosh.
A lot of stuff goes down.
The very final the season finale was incredible.
Yeah, those last few minutes.
Yeah,
I was like.
Yeah, it's great.
Brutal.
But so all right. Well, we'll just continue to watch it. So it's on Max in the US. I'm not sure where it's streaming elsewhere. It's called Industry. And I think season 3 is running on Max right now. It comes out on Sundays.
Yeah.
So we'll have to catch it up. We'll probably watch some more today, I guess, now that we're caught up and we watch it together. But I think it's great. I don't understand the machinations of the bank.
No, I don't care about any of that.
And the shit they're talking about, but it's still interesting.
I don't care. When they start talking in terminology and stuff, I'm like, I don't care. This doesn't matter. Tune out.
Well, what was funny was, and this is not going to give anything away, but when we were watching Joker yesterday, when Harvey Dent appears on the screen, it's the guy who plays Robert in Industry.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, great. And it was like, Mr. Dent, call your first witness. Oh, and the first witness was Eric from Industry.
I'm like, somebody likes Industry.
Somebody, so
Todd
either
Phillips.
Todd Phillips or one of the producers likes the show Industry.
The casting director or somebody, because 2 faces from Industry right away.
Yeah, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to watching some more. I was just trying to think about if we watched anything else this week.
No, I think that mainly we've been watching that stuff. Finishing Shogun.
Border Security.
Yeah, just some junk food TV, because we work all week.
What's that on? It's on Disney Plus, right?
It's on Max.
Oh, it's on Max.
Yeah,
what is it called?
Contraband Seized at the Border.
Seized at the Border. Now,
people are like, "Oh my God, y'all!"
Yeah, no. It shows you. It's on the U.S.-Mexico border, It's just a really and if you listen to the Rest is Entertainment podcast, Richard Osman will tell you he loves these shows too. They are really well made.
What's that one? Nothing to Declare?
Nothing to Declare. Oh my gosh.
Started watching
What's
that
that
too. That is on, that's kind of on like a Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
UK.
Oh, it's Disney Plus UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
But look, big drug busts are satisfying.
Yeah.
Let's face it. When they find a bunch of bundles, it's satisfying.
Oh, another thing we've been watching, because I keep thinking about, what have we been watching? We've been watching the latest season of Frasier.
Yeah.
On Paramount Plus, which is I still think is still good.
It's cute.
It's not classic Frasier, but it's still good. I still think it's very witty. I still like it a lot. I thought Roz was great in this past episode we watched. She was just, Roz was Roz. Yeah, it's very good. It's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to be when he gets back on the radio, which I think is the next episode we've got to watch. Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know that, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oops.
All right, well, so I think he's teaching at Harvard in this current iteration, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, back on the radio should be
and
interesting.
Alan, of course, his buddy, Nicholas Lyndhurst, Alan, is just great.
And he was on Only Fools and Horses.
He
right?
was Rodney on Only Fools and Horses, which
what
for all my
character.
For all my UK peeps out there, it is going to be weird to see him in Frasier, but the character's great.
Yeah.
Alan Cornwall is his name.
Oh,
yeah, he's great.
Awesome. He is great. So I think coming up on the kind of, thinking about next week, I think our next big kind of tent pole movie that we're going to be interested in is going to be Saturday Night.
Yeah.
I think that opens next week. So it's the detailing of the first episode, or getting the first episode to air of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And that classic Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Jane Curtin, everybody.
It's written and directed by Jason Reitman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
We'll go see it.
And we got Piece by Piece as well.
Yes.
So
the Lego
Pharrell movie, which we'll be going to see.
And I'm sure we will be watching a lot of scary, spooky stuff. We've still got to catch up on the Salem's Lot mini-series on Max. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, there's always so much to watch.
Always something to watch. And always something to talk about. So keep on following. We are on... at FaveFilm Podcast on Instagram. We also have an email address, favefilmpodcast@gmail.com, if you ever want to write in and talk about anything.
Let us know in the comments, what you think of the episode. Let us know what you think of everything you've been watching. Thank you, as always, for listening. We appreciate it. We do have our full-length episode coming out, hopefully, this week.
Yep, we hope to record that this week. I'm trying to think. So we've already given some hints. Best to watch on a Friday. Classic 80s comedy.
One more?
People Against Goodness and Normalcy.
There you go.
That's
You've
all
probably given it away now.
Oh, no.
So,
if you didn't get it on the first, if you didn't get it on yours, I'm sorry. But, so we'll have that full-length episode coming up soon. And we just thank you so much for listening.
And we'll catch you next week for another FaveFilm Weekly.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.